Good afternoon and welcome to UBC Lunchtime News. I'm Loreen Masika Kazimoto. We'll start off this news bulletin with the State House Investors Protection Unit unveiled an electronic portal aimed at shielding investors from bureaucratic hurdles and corruption. President Museveni presided over the launch at State House in Entebbe, and we have the details.
Investors have long grappled with red tape, bribery and delays in obtaining certificates, deterring potential investors and impeding the country's economic growth. Colonel Edith Nakalema, head of State House Investors Protection Unit, unveiled the technology stressing its connectivity across agencies and ministries to combat corruption. Nakalema highlighted that the portal developed by National Information Technology Authority Uganda will enable investors to lodge complaints directly, with agency heads ensuring prompt feedback to foster investors' trust.
Your Excellency, the key functions of the Electronic Investors Protection Portal include it will offer protection by guiding investors to government MDS for authentic information. Because, Your Excellency, among the many complaints we receive include the investors falling in the hands of fraudsters or wrong elements, maybe to be general, with your permission, Your Excellency. The portal has a reporting mechanism through which investors can inquire or file complaints.
The President commended Nakalema's efforts underlining Uganda's policy framework for supporting investors. He emphasized that upholding integrity during agency recruitment was pivot in the fight against corruption.
I think the problems have been two. Problem has been the work is a lot, but I think also these groups, your recruitment approach, be careful about the people you recruit. Don't recruit people by looking at their papers. This is not a job. It's not a... I gave the example of how I built up the URA originally. When we came into government, after a few years, I discovered that there was very low collection of taxes. I think the Minister of Finance was Kiong at that time. He's the one who told me that the tax collection that time was 4% of GDP. So there was no collection of taxes. So these agencies don't bring papers, qualification, no. Integrity.
Additionally, President pointed out that Africa's economic potential has been hampered by misguided policies and attitudes towards foreign investors.
East Africa would be very far. So when we watched all this, in the NRM we were very clear. We said no. From the beginning, liberate the private sector. Let the people, yes, the land is, the natural resources are here, the labor is here, let the people with capital come.
According to Inspector General of Government's report, Uganda loses an estimate of 20 trillion shillings annually due to corruption, with 23% of government's annual budget falling victim to this vice. Sada Mubale, UBC News at State House, Entebbe.
Government has launched local government private-public partnership guideline to allow local governments to deal with private sector to attract funding. During the launch, the State Minister for Finance and Planning, Amos Lugolobi, urged local government to be innovating in collecting taxes since Uganda's 40% of the budget goes in debt payment, affecting the service delivery.
Ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause once again for this grand launch of the local government PPP pooled finance guidelines.
The impact of using these guidelines and the financing framework is game-changing, as I mentioned. We expect to see speed in delivering improved infrastructure at local government level, increased employment opportunities. It's very critical that we create jobs for this very young population. I've talked about the size of the population and the speed by which it is growing. More effective and efficient provision of public services, because people need these services now, actually yesterday, not even tomorrow. These services are desperately needed. And ultimately, a more robust local economy. So you'll be building a strong, resilient economy in your area that can stand all manner of shocks. So these benefits will reverberate across the local communities, fostering inclusive development, economic prosperity, and achievement of strategic objectives.
So we needed to address ourselves to the challenges that local governments have. Honourable Minister, one of the challenges we found was that local governments, while they are administratively structured, but from a business to do business mindset was hardly there. Local governments are used a lot more to coming to the center and asking for subventions. And because of that, doing business as local governments was set aside. Yet we know that as government, you had deliberately created them to be autonomous from the center. There's a decentralization effort, but they can also they can contract, they can sue, they can be sued, and therefore they can do business. So to turn that mindset, which has been as old as Uganda, we are independent so many years, to turn around that, it's not something that we could achieve easily, and therefore we've been working on it to make sure that we realize it. And hence the need for us to go to the core of why are we behaving like this as local governments. The second reason, we discovered that there were so many tools. Because eventually local governments realized that the world was moving on, there was not enough resource from the center, they started going all over the place to try and attract investments. And they became vulnerable. So you could find a tool from, an interested group somewhere, a civil society somewhere, one government, the other government, and the local governments were getting confused. So given the guidance you gave us, we decided to harmonize all of this so that local governments become predictable. They cease to be, to do business as if they are not organized.
At the 9th graduation ceremony of Gulu College of Health Sciences, 367 individuals received certificates and diplomas. Mr. Joseph Agondua, the chief guest, urged the graduates to leverage their acquired skills for the betterment of community health and well-being. Principal Babalanda Jean addressed the graduates, highlighting that graduation isn't the end point, but the commencement of a new journey. She motivated them to embrace challenges, persist in learning, and always pursue excellence in their respective fields.
And for your information, let us pray. Those who have diploma go to degrees, get their masters, and continue with your academic journey. I miss you all there. Infrastructure is needed. I think this problem can be solved. Private citizen, but they're the citizen of Uganda.
We are grateful to Gulu community for giving us an environment to run these courses. We are also grateful to the Ministry of Education and Sports for facilitating us and also guiding us throughout the time we are running these programs. Today we graduated 367 graduates from both diploma and certificate programs. They have just started their journey of academics. They are supposed to aspire to add on more qualifications, get more skills. Of course, they have graduated, but that is not all. They have to be vigilant in learning more at the workplace, because that is not all. The world of practice is full of challenges, but I'm sure they have been prepared enough and they will manage the challenges. Says whereby they can be licensed by Allied Health Professionals Council to practice in their fields of study, and I want to urge the graduates to register with Allied Health Professionals Council for licensure, because that is when their life as professionals begins, and that's when they are counted as professionals. I'm urging them to desist from practicing when they are not licensed.
Now, member states of the East African region have commissioned the regional office in Uganda to host the Independent Regulatory Board Secretariat to facilitate the objectives of harmonizing electricity trade and regulations. The office is housed in the former Electricity Regulatory Authority of Uganda at Plot 15 Shimoni Road. The chairperson of the board, Engineer Ziria Tibalwa Wako, has confirmed relevant approvals from the World Bank towards office operations.
The Independent Regulatory Board of the East African Power Pool is tasked with the harmonization of electricity regulatory frameworks across the East African region. The board has established its headquarters in Kampala.
The good from what the other regulator is doing and learn from it, as well as be able to train the other regulators in the areas of your strength. The other area that we are collaborating in is to build the robust regulatory frameworks that will enable sustainability, both in technical expertise, leveraging of the technological advancement, as well as to build the capacity to sustain the independency of the operation of both the national and the regional regulator.
Engagements between regional regulators, World Bank officials and other stakeholders have resulted into the approval of secretariat operations.
And as well as at the same time we managed to get approvals for financial support. We got approval by the African Development Bank amounting to $800,000 to equip this office, because while we had the space, but we needed the office details. So we are very happy that we have already secured funding for the operationalization of the IRB office. We've also managed to secure approval by the World Bank. Again today, they gave an objection for the consultant who is going to prepare the market rules as well as the market trading platform.
The body's secretariat is set to initiate the procurement of eligible consultants with their primary objective to develop trade frameworks among the East African countries.
$0.4 million obtained from the Africa Development Bank will be to operationalize this institution and also to have a SCADA system, a monitoring SCADA system in the Eastern Africa Power Pool. And we'll have a competitive market. We are going to sign a contract next year by January with the consultant. We will be developing the market rules and also the market platform.
With the operationalization of the Independent Regulatory Board of the East African Power Pool, it will facilitate multinational power agreements to address issues stemming from power unreliability and instability. Abdul Nasir Lubwama for UBC.
The 24th Eastern African Zonal Scouts Educational Camp, themed Innovating the Next Step, has concluded successfully at Kazi National Scouts Camping Ground in Wakiso District. Member of Parliament for Agago North County, Okot John Amos, encouraged the Scouts fraternity to embrace innovation in their scouting journey.
The event, graced by over 3,000 scouts and elders from 8 countries, that is Kenya, Tanzania, Rwanda, Burundi, South Sudan, Ethiopia, Liberia and Uganda, concluded at Kazi Scouts grounds in Wakiso district. Okot John Amos, also the chairperson of Scouts and Girls Guides in Acholi region, urged scouts to embrace technology, learn valuable life skills, foster self-reliance and build strong relationships with others.
It's not your work to inherit any enemy. Do not inherit any enemy whatsoever. Make sure that things that sound to be as an enemy, push it aside. Instead, inherit friendship. Inherit more friendship. Inherit more friendship. I'm speaking this to leaders that have been given the offices. At the same time, also my young people, the youth who are here.
Okot John Amos, also the chairperson of Scouts and Girls Guides in Acholi region, urged scouts to embrace technology, learn valuable life skills, foster self-reliance and build strong relationships with others. Okot Stanley warned against negative behaviors like drug abuse and emphasized the importance of avoiding HIV/AIDS, stating that a healthy and strong nation results from healthy individuals.
Create a link. Create a link. Just that link will not be a link for lamentation, but a link to bring out solutions. The world is looking for who can bring solutions. We are living in a world where everybody wants to see who is going to offer the solution.
Chief Commissioner of the Uganda Scouts Association, Ato Florence Apobo, expressed gratitude to the government of Uganda, the Ministry of Education and Sports and other entities for their financial and material support contributing to the successful hosting of the convention.
Allow me to thank our beloved fountain of honor, that is His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Uganda, who is also His Excellency, the elephant, the patron of Uganda Scout Association. Also Mama Jana, the Minister of Education.
Colonel Richard Kamya, the commandant of Kazi National Camping Ground, highlighted the diverse skills acquired by learners from different countries, including environmental conservation and tailoring. He urged parents to enroll their children in schools with Scouts programs.
We hope a Scout has to live by example. A Scout has to be educative. A Scout has to show all what is needed to help others in the community. By doing so, the community benefits from younger people, and the younger people also benefits from the community.
Scout leaders called on South Sudan, Burundi and DR Congo to adjust their education school calendars to accommodate more scouts in the upcoming 25th educational camp scheduled for May 2024 in Kenya. Story compiled by Henry Muganga for UBC News.
Experts in veterinary medicine and stakeholders in the dairy sector are urged to collaborate in the battle against tick-borne diseases, which pose a persistent threat to the growth of Uganda's livestock industry. In Africa, where over 100 million people survive on less than $2 per day, livestock plays a crucial role in livelihoods, but 25% of this valuable asset is currently lost due to diseases caused by ticks.
A two-day meeting organized by Elanco and the Global Alliance for Livestock Veterinary Medicines under the Managing Animal Health and Acaricides for a Better Africa initiative emphasized the urgent need to address tick-borne disease affecting smallholder farmers. The scientists were informed that many ticks had developed resistance to acaricides, necessitating collaborative efforts to find effective solutions. Dr. Anna Rose Ademon, Assistant Director at MIFE, emphasized the severity of the situation, highlighting that the resistance of acaricides poses a significant threat to livestock health, compelling farmers to resort to stronger pesticides. This not only endangers the well-being of livestock, but also raises concerns about potential health risks for humans.
My guidance is we do zoning of acaricides and we do molecule zoning, and then we do go out together as a country and we change over these acaricides when needed.
Johnson Kengabo, a dairy farmer from Chiboga, shared his perspective on the challenges faced by farmers due to tick-borne diseases. He emphasized the need for proactive measures to mitigate the impact on both livestock and human health.
We as farmers, as farmer groups, I think the message we are taking is to go back and mobilize our farmers and using the Mahaba, the tools which they are giving us and the knowledge to try to equip our farmers with better knowledge on how to use the acaricides, but also how to use the tools.
Mahaba is a shared value initiative designed to help deliver sustainable solutions that help small-scale producers tap full potential of their livestock. The project aims to support small-scale producers in Nigeria and Uganda by defining and implementing strategies to effectively control tick infestations in cattle.
Our focus is on ensuring that small-scale producers actually have access to required medicine to treat their livestock and therefore transform their life through production increases.
We want to empower farmers to make the best out of their livestock.
Supported by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, the Mahaba initiative aims to register over 33 products and provide training to up to 450,000 farmers by 2026. Dr. Lenaig Halos from the Bill and Melinda Gates reiterated the Foundation's commitment to addressing this critical issue and supporting sustainable solutions for livestock health in Africa.
Contribute to preserving the ability to treat with the current acaricides by providing innovative solutions, animal health solutions, and professionalizing solutions to small-scale farmers to improve the use of the current acaricides.
A validation meeting on the Copyrights and Neighboring Act of 2006 has been held at the Uganda Registration Services Bureau House with the aim of providing for the protection of literary, scientific and artistic intellectual works and their neighboring rights, and to provide for other related matters. Uganda Registration Services Bureau has been in conjunction with various bodies to ensure that the amendments align with interests of the art performers.
Law Reform Commission, and you came in at a point.
The 2006 Copyrights and Neighboring Act spells out how one obtains copyright and neighboring right, what qualifies to be protected under the Act, provides for how protected works may be exploited by third parties, the duration of rights protected under the Act, and creates offences for infringement of copyright and neighboring rights. According to Honorable Chiriowa Chiwanuka, the Attorney General, stakeholders need to take part in the law.
Whereas the law will create the foundation, the efforts and input of all stakeholders will spur the sector into sustainable growth and achieve our much desired middle income status. Therefore, what you do now is going to affect this industry either positively or negatively. So you need to sit through these processes carefully and soberly. Carefully and soberly. Because we are happy to finish the law, but the law must be functional and useful.
A number of regional consultations and studies have been carried out by Uganda Registration Services Bureau, Uganda Law Reform Commission, and the Performing Arts Body. The first consultation was conducted on October 12 for Northern Region and Eastern Region in October 2023.
In total, we managed to consult over 1,000 persons from whom we gathered views that we seek to validate today. Honorable Attorney General, this has been, I think, the widest consultation we've carried out in the history of the Uganda Law Reform Commission. And I think there's nothing like over-consultation, but this is one of those laws where we've really consulted. Honorable Attorney General and dear participants, the findings indicate need for reform of the Copyright and Neighboring Rights Act to address the gaps in the law, new and emerging trends, and to ensure effective enforcement of the law for the benefit of the creatives.
Members of Performing Arts requested government to consider the reduction of costs of the copyright registration.
The copyright law is not respected because, I mean, if you create and you don't benefit from what you create, you only lose the capital. So artists are they definitely lose everything.
Private copy levy,
how registration can be done to gazette the works.
Before we look at the government, I'm appealing to the stakeholders. Every content owner, know your copyright. Be responsible. It is your responsibility to know your copyright.
The victim wa abantu abatalina music wawe fully because we don't have a copyright law. So
it should be noted that on the 4th October 2023, Ugandan musicians, through their association, the Uganda National Musician Federation, led by Edirisa Musuza, commonly known as Eddie Kenzo, petitioned Parliament on October 4th to hasten the process of amending copyright laws so that musicians can fairly earn from their art. Mariona Wori and Juman Samba for UBC.
Ask that
While UBC Lunchtime News takes a very short break, but we'll return with more stories after the break.
Meet Brian Namanya, a visionary and a game changer whose team at Tubayo is breathing new life into domestic tourism. By curating exciting yet affordable experiences for Ugandans and foreigners to enjoy, with the help of technology, Brian is showing us all the immense potential out there. Those who know Brian know him as a serial entrepreneur who's always been challenging the status quo and won't stop now. Brian, we're in your corner. You are unstoppable. MTN, the Unstoppable Network, celebrates you. Visit www.tubayo.com and together let's support Ugandans like Brian who are driving our country's unstoppable progress.
Juko. Yo. Check the shopping, man. What's your secret?
Haven't you heard of the Parish development model, PDM?
Yes, I did, but I thought it was just a talk.
No, it is real. I and a few friends together formed a circle, accessed money from the PDM, invested in a portrait project, and now things are moving.
Juko. I thought I was one of your friends.
You are.
But you left me behind.
I didn't leave you in poverty. What you do, just visit your LC2 chairperson and your parish chief and start the process of economic transformation. Just like that. The Parish development model is an initiative from the government of Uganda through the Ministry of Local Government designed to transform all lives of Ugandans for the better. PDM, my parish, my development, my life.
Welcome back from that break. A section of MK movement supporters hailing from the ghettos in the West Nile districts have convened in Arua city for an end-of-year and Christmas party. The party has been attended by, among others, the MK movement Central Committee members led by Balam Barugahara and Minister of State for Northern Uganda, Grace Freedom Kwichwin.
The MK movement Ghetto youth from the West Nile sub-region have converged at a celebration they have referred to as their end-of-year party.
I want to welcome you today, and I bring you greetings from General Mos Kainerugala.
This has been held in Arua city.
General Mos says, be good rasters, be good ghetto ambassadors of MK West Nile. Don't participate in committing crime.
The event has attracted participants from both the MK movement and government.
The main message I have for you today is we are only waiting for a whistle. As General Museveni is still the president, as per constitution, General Museveni is still the president of Uganda, having been elected, and he has only served 3 years. Years is 2 years. So young people, General Mos says, respect the government in power, work with the government in power, and avoid participating in criminality.
Among the government officials who graced this party was the State Minister for Northern Uganda, Freedom Grace Kwichwin.
And thank you for loving Museveni, and thank you for the mobilization you do. Because Museveni is a man with a vision. is a man who will talk to anybody, doesn't segregate. He talks to you people here who are being despised, he talks to the big people also. He talks to the church, he talks to the cultural leaders also. He talks to the big, he talks to the children. He is our father, the father of the nation. But I also want to thank you for being visionary, that you are looking ahead, that one day, as it were, if our father leaves the chair, there should be a replacement, and a good replacement. Isn't that what you are thinking about? Yes. So the fuel in the generator must not get finished.
These youth are looking at how best they can tap into the many government developmental programs, as well as popularizing General Hoskani Rukaba.
So the ghetto president mentioned that you don't have capital in your ghetto. The issue of capital is very challenging.
Boys are increasing, girls are increasing, criminality increasing. We need the government rescue. We are hearing government today give Gulu's ghetto in Kampala, tomorrow Mbarara, that day Mbale, that day Lira. Why us in West Nile? We love government. We love government programs.
This end-of-year party happens to be the first of its kind to be organized by the MK movement diehards.
Now, the Uganda People's Defense Forces, UPDF, has withdrawn its forces deployed for a regional peacekeeping mission in North Kivu, Rutshuru General Area in Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo. The defense spokesperson, Brigadier General Felix Kulaija, confirmed that the exit of UPDF follows DRC government's decision not to renew the mandate of the East African Community Regional Force beyond December 2023.
A contingent of Uganda People's Defense Force UPDF have withdrawn from Democratic Republic of Congo, where they have been part of the East African Community Regional Force. Defense spokesperson Brigadier General Felix Kulaija has confirmed this report.
ECRAF, which is the East African Community Regional Intervention Force, was created by East African heads of states to help DRC deal with the negative forces in Eastern DRC, particularly North and South Kivu provinces. As we speak, the mandate was up to 8th of December. When it expired, DRC refused to renew the mandate and preferred to invite SADC forces. The head of state summit agreed and they ordered the CDFs to meet the SADC CDFs and agree on what should be next. So we have left as required. We hope the SADC forces will take over from us.
The withdrawal comes after authorities in DR Congo did not extend the regional forces mandate beyond December. The East African Community Regional Force was deployed in November 2022 to free areas taken by M23 rebels who emerged from North Kivu province in 2021. Numerous armed groups and other militias have been active for decades in eastern part of DRC. But the withdrawal of the East African Community Regional Force does not affect Operation Soja against ADF conducted jointly by UPDF and Federal Army in Ituri and in North Kivu province.
There is a difference between Operation Shuja and the ECRAF. Shuja is a bilateral arrangement between the DRC government and the Uganda government, and therefore it's an operation carried out both by FRDC and UPDF.
Haruna Mtesasira, UBC News.
And in business, Chira Motors is witnessing a surge in orders for both diesel and electric buses. This development marks a major shift in the company's strategy and highlights the country's growing appetite for sustainable transportation solutions. Chira Motors entered the electric vehicle market with its Kayola EV bus a few years ago, and since then the company has grown. Their innovative electric bus model boasts a range of up to 350 kilometers on a single charge, making it ideal for urban transportation. Our reporters paid the manufacturing plant in Nakasongola a visit and filed this report.
Kira Motors production hub in Nakasongola is buzzing with activity. The team is working around the clock to fulfill 28 bus orders comprising a mix of diesel and electric. This production hub will soon be complemented by the plant in Jinja nearing completion. In the body shop, we found skilled workers assembling bus frames, focusing on precision and balance. At every stage here, engineers transform detailed blueprints into tangible marvels.
It takes us an average of about, right now, 3 weeks from start to finish of a bus. Yeah, but of course that doesn't mean that you only produce one bus every 3 weeks, you know. As you've seen, there are many buses online, so 3 weeks is just the time it takes to produce a bus, but other buses can be produced after those 3 weeks.
This intricate dance between design and reality unfolds before our eyes.
Aspect of building a bus. So over and above the precision which you have seen, we have other specifications of the material we use. So for example, the quality or the type of material we use is automotive grade material. So that material, of course, under different heat conditions will not easily bend when you're welding. So the material we have on the market, for example, which they use to make like windows and doors for houses, can easily bend or lose its form when you're doing different operations like what we are doing here, like welding. So we use really that special type of, steel. We also use the special type of welding. For example, this is what we call MIG welding.
Safety is a priority at the manufacturing process. Advanced technology is used to simulate impacts, ensuring buses can withstand accidents.
Each of the buses is produced. It is subjected to what we call static and dynamic tests. Static tests are tests that we conduct while the bus is in one place. Are all the windows working? Are all the shifters working? Are all buttons working? Are all electricals working? After that, and we are satisfied that the customer will equally be satisfied, we move on to what we call dynamic tests. We have been fortunate that Luweero Industries has quite a vast expanse of land and different facilities. Subject our buses to both real life situations and controlled.
The company is driven by the global objective to reduce carbon emissions by 45% by 2030 and achieve net zero emissions by 2050. This commitment is reflected in their plans to install 1,500 electric chargers across East Africa within the next 5 years.
So we are going to have a number of chargers that are going to be configured and installed in different locations as a pilot. But Kira Motors is not only going to be the only player in the charging infrastructure business, because we are interested in other partners from the private sector and other technology partners from all over the world to come and partner with us, because without the charging systems being sufficient to support the cars on the road, it will be very hard to adopt the electric vehicle technology. So right now we are in a phase where we are testing 9 of these fast chargers that are going to be deployed this year, and then even next year we shall keep on adding.
The story of Kira Motors is one that is still being written, but one that promises to be etched in Uganda's books of history. Sharon Chomjesha, UBC News in Nakasongola.
UBC Lunchtime News has come to an end. Thank you so much for your company this afternoon. I'm Lorraine Masika Kazimoto. Enjoy much more of UBC Television's programming.